Hello students, myself Hema Marwah is going to introduce you the chapter 4 titled Ecosystem for the class 8 under the subject Biology. Certain learning objectives of the chapter covered in this slide are our environment, ecosystem, interactive components of an ecosystem, categories of biotic components, and further topics will be covered in the coming videos. Students, we all know that our Earth is a unique planet as the life exists only on it. The conditions necessary for the survival of all living organisms on the Earth are right distance of the Earth from the Sun, presence of atmosphere, presence of water, presence of minerals in the soil, and its gravitational force. Students, in this slide, we will know what is an environment. The term environment is derived from a French word environ, meaning to encircle or surround. Thus, everything which surrounds us is collectively called environment. The environment around us constitute a life support system. Both the physical and the biological surroundings constitute our environment. The physical surrounding include land, water, air, light, and temperature, while biological surrounding includes plants, animals, microorganisms, and human beings. Students, let us take the different spheres of the earth. So what are the different spheres of the earth? They are the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. They are collectively known as biosphere. Biosphere supports all the life forms which is present on the surface of earth, and it extends 11 kilometer deep into the sea and 10 kilometer up into the air from the earth space. So before introducing the pictorial representation of the three different spheres of the earth, let me introduce you the brief definition or the brief introduction about the lithosphere, hydrosphere, and the atmosphere. What are they? Lithosphere, it is the outer solid layer covered by the rocks and soil. It contains important minerals, which are being required for the proper growth of plants, or you can say these minerals provide the essential nutrients for the growth of all living organisms. Now, second part is your hydrosphere. It is the part of the earth that contains water for sustaining life. About 70% of the earth is covered by water, and that water is present in the sea and the oceanic bodies. Only a small portion of water is present in the fresh form, and that is available in the rivers, lakes, and groundwater. Now, let me introduce the third, that is atmosphere. Atmosphere, what it is? It is a blanket of the air that surrounds the earth. It contains lots of gases, and among it, the most important gas which the living organisms require is the oxygen. Among these gases, ozone is present in the upper part of the atmosphere, and it prevents us from the harmful radiations which come from the sun. Students, this slide shows the pictorial representation of different spheres of biosphere or the ecosphere. So you can see in this diagram, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and the lithosphere, they are the part of biospheres. Okay, atmosphere consists of a number of gases which are present in the form of mixture, that is the air. Hydrosphere, that is the water part of the earth, and lithosphere, that is the soil and the rocky part of the earth. Students, now we will know what is an ecosystem. An ecosystem is defined as the structural and functional unit of the biosphere in which plants, animals, and some physical components interact with each other and maintain a balance in nature. It is a self-sustaining system capable of independent existence. So for your more information, I want to add in the biosphere different type of ecosystem such as the grassland, pond, forest, and aquatic ecosystems. They are present and they are running parallelly. In an ecosystem, two basic processes are conducted by the biotic and abiotic components. And what are these processes? They are the flow of energy and cycling of nutrients. Students, now we will explore the types of ecosystem. Based on their nature, duration, and the size, ecosystems are of two types. First is the natural ecosystem, and the second is the artificial ecosystem. Let us focus on the definition of the natural ecosystem. An ecosystem which operates under the natural conditions without the interaction of human beings is called the natural ecosystem. And there are two types of the natural ecosystem. First is the terrestrial and second is the aquatic. Grasslands, deserts, forests, they all are the example of terrestrial ecosystem, whereas the ponds, rivers and the lakes, they are the example of aquatic ecosystem. Now let us focus our learning on the definition of artificial ecosystem. What is the artificial ecosystem? An ecosystem which is maintained and created by the human beings is called the artificial ecosystem. And what are its example? Your fish aquarium. Fish aquarium that is being created by the human being, and that is the best example of artificial ecosystem. Students, this slide gives you the pictorial representation of two types of natural ecosystem. The first one is the aquatic and second is the terrestrial. So you can see in this picture, there are the two types of the aquatic system I have shared. That is the pond ecosystem and the ocean ecosystem, or you can say oceanic ecosystem. And the second, the lower one that are showing you the desert ecosystem and the grassland ecosystem. Students, this slide shares the information about the interactive components of ecosystem. In an ecosystem, all living things such as plants, animals, and human beings, they are called the biotic components, while non-living things such as the air, water, soil, light, and temperature constitute the abiotic components. Both the biotic and the abiotic components interact together and constitute an ecosystem. So what is the word equation for the ecosystem? We can write like that. The biotic components plus abiotic components, they constitute the ecosystem. Students, this slide shows the images of biotic components found in the ecosystem. So what are they? They are the plants, animals and microorganisms which are present in the soil. And under the abiotic components, we are going to study in the further slide. What are they? They are the water, soil, air, light and minerals. So we will explore them individually in the further slides. Students, now we will explore the abiotic components of the ecosystem. The most important abiotic components are light, temperature, water, soil and air. Light, this is one of the most valuable abiotic components of the environment. The sun is the ultimate source of light energy and it greatly influences the life of all living things present on the earth. The second abiotic component, which is very important, is the temperature. The survival of plants and animals depends on the range of temperature, that is between 0 degrees Celsius to 50 degrees Celsius. Each organism has a temperature tolerance range and it varies from organism to organism. The third abiotic component which I have discussed in the slide is water. Water is also an essential requirement for all living organisms. No organism can survive without water. It helps the organism to grow and survive. There is 60 to 70% of water present in the human body, which is used to perform various metabolic activities like digestion, circulation of body fluids, and so on. Now let us discuss the rest three abiotic components. The first one is the air. Air is an important abiotic factor for the survival of all living organisms because it contains oxygen which is necessary for the respiration. In plants, the air helps in the dispersal of seeds, fruits and spores and moreover, it absorbs excess heat and does not let the day become too hot. The next abiotic component is the soil. Soil is also an important abiotic component because it houses a large variety of living organisms such as earthworm, fungi, and bacteria. Third, and the last abiotic component which is discussed in our book is the humidity. It refers to the amount of water vapor present in the atmosphere. When humidity is high, there is much water vapor present in the atmosphere and vice versa. Humidity affects the rate at which the water evaporates from the surface of organisms such as in transpiration or in sweating. Students, now we will discuss the various biotic components of ecosystem. All living organisms constitute the biotic component of environment. The first biotic component which we will discuss in the slide is plants. Plants directly or indirectly are the primary food source of all living beings. We get food mainly from the plants. Beside food, plants also provide the fuel, fibers, medicines and beverages through the process of photosynthesis. Plants also purify the environment by taking the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. The oxygen released by the plant is used for respiration by all living organisms, including human beings. Now, the second biotic component which we will discuss is animals. Animals cannot produce food for themselves. They depend on the plants and other animals for their food. Most of the animals move around from one place to another to in search of food. Microorganisms which are found in the ecosystem, they act as the decomposers. I hope students all the learning objectives which I have covered in this presentation, that is our environment, ecosystem and interactive component of an ecosystems, are clear to you. Thanks for watching my video. Thank you to all.